I guess right now we should start the show.
Yo, welcome back to the JV podcast. Today I got a very, very special guest. Been trying to make this happen for a minute. Y'all
Yeah.
might have seen him on one Drake fan versus five Kendrick fans. That was a dope video. But I got Jay Roebuck in the building. If you
My guy.
guys if you guys have not heard of him, and he's a first time guest on this show, you can introduce yourself now to the audience if you want to.
Yeah, man. Number one, thank you for having me on. I know we tried to schedule this, but we had some scheduling issues, so I'm happy we were able to work it out. But yeah, my name is Jay Roebuck. I talk about sports. I talk about music. You may have seen me on House of Highlights Clash. You're doing some content over there, doing some debates. That's my specialty. Also in the music world, I cover a lot of music content, and then we started doing some music debates over there. The most well-known one is obviously I was the one Drake fan against five Drake haters, and that one is going pretty viral. So we've had some big stuff happening. So I appreciate you giving me the platform to speak to your audience, and we'll make it a great episode for everybody.
I appreciate you pulling up. This is such a dope moment right now. But watching that one Drake fan versus five Kendrick fans, I was happy that you was the Drake defender. I was so happy. Like I like both Drake and Kendrick, but I'm like, we need somebody to defend Drake because it felt like everybody was just coming at Drake for that whole summer of 2024. So for you to come out and defend him, it was like this is refreshing because a lot of people wouldn't even want to hear this. So shout out to you because it was a
Yeah,
lot of
man.
trending topics, especially after that time when Ebro was like, he don't got a classic album. I'm like, here we go.
Yeah, man. I mean, one of the main reasons why I started talking about music is the amount of Drake hate that was out there in 2024. And for me, it's like he's my favorite current rapper. And
Hmm.
I'm like, okay, I understand why people have certain things to say, but I feel like this is just so overblown. And like YouTube is filled with all this negativity. Anytime he does something, there's a million reaction videos to say something bad. So I'm like, this doesn't add up. And I think one of the main things about that debate, why I felt it was important, is just because I'm a fan of Drake doesn't mean I have to say negative things about any artist. So I always try to
Hmm.
keep myself grounded in what I'm talking about, stick to facts, not too much into the feelings, and really just appreciate the art. And I think that's where hip hop discourse has strayed away from. No one talks about good things anymore. Or if they say good things, they can only say good things about one artist or one camp. And that's not the way that music discourse should be. So hopefully in that debate, I was able to shine a light the other way and then show people that there's a way to appreciate everyone without tearing down others. That was the whole point to me.
Now, yeah. Once since you're here now, I gotta ask you a question because one of my boys, like I told him that I was gonna have you on, and he was like, "Yo, make sure you ask him this." I forgot which video it was, but you said it was something about like you not being the biggest Nas fan, and
Oh,
he just I'm speaking on him on his behalf. He wants to know why because Nas is his favorite rapper.
you know what it is with Nas? I feel like people really love Nas or they're like, I'm cool on it. It's hard to find
Hmm.
people in the middle ground. So I will say this. I think Nas's beat selection makes it very difficult sometimes. So it's not that he's an amazing MC. He's one of the best. I don't think anyone can deny that, right? That's what popular sentiment is. That's what time has shown and proven. I mean, the last three projects, the King's Disease projects, all the run he's had with Hit Boy, those are great albums, in my opinion. I think it's some of the best rapping he's done in a long time. But for me, I think the beat selection makes it a little bit difficult. Sometimes his rhyme scheme and the rhyme pattern is so distinct that it doesn't really catch my ears the way that other rappers do. So I'm not saying Nas is trash. Like that's crazy to say, but he's just not in my top five anything. Like to me, yeah. So yeah, that's the best I can say it. I mean,
That's
I respect Illmatic. Um, like some of the corny, some people say like I Know I Can is like a corny single. I love that song. Made You Look is one of my favorite songs. Like
that's a
Nas is
great
him,
song.
but just not for me. But I can still respect it. It's just not my cup of tea all the time.
Yeah, that's a fair take. I just had to ask that. But the main topics of the episode today, just a little trend setting news. So we got the league expansion. And then we unfortunately have Cade Cunningham's injury, which is unfortunate to see. And then the
Yeah.
main bulk of today's episode, we're gonna have fun. We're gonna have NBA players and their rap counterpart. I've always wanted to do a episode like this for a while. So you're actually the best guest to have on for this.
Hmm.
But to start, we'll talk about the NBA league expansion. It was reported earlier this week that the league is going to have a vote with the board and governors about potential expansion, starting
Hmm.
with Seattle. We all knew that, and Las Vegas. So, with that being said, that means two teams will most likely have to relocate to the Eastern Conference, and a lot of those, everybody's speculating that it'll be Minnesota moving to
Hmm.
the East, and the other two teams is between Memphis and New Orleans.
Yeah.
But how do you feel about a potential expansion in the NBA and what that means going forward?
I think it's needed. It's 100% needed. I mean, in the 90s, we were in the expansion era as well. So people have negative things to say because they think the league isn't good enough or competitive enough right now. And I think that is really far from the truth. There are so many guys in the league who come off the bench who could be starters in other places. Like Peyton Pritchard is an NBA starter. But I mean, he's great as a six man, but he has the ability to be a starting point guard in the league. When you look at the college game right now, this is one of the deepest drafts that we've seen in the past 20 years. So there are guys that are capable. It's the organizations that need to compete more. So I don't put it on the player's talent. I put it on the ability of organizations to allow that talent to flourish at the highest level. So I'm all for expansion. I think it's just the model that every league is going to follow. Every league is eventually going to want a team in Las Vegas. I mean, we've seen the NHL do it. Baseball, I know, tried to get it done with Oakland. So, and we also saw the NFL do it. So you have to have an NBA team in Vegas, number one, to make money, and number two, to be in a city, right? We know the league is dealing with the gambling companies. They have a large say so in what happens, and which is one of the reasons why we're trying to keep the integrity of the league as whole as possible. So Vegas makes logical sense. When you look at Seattle, people love basketball there. That is a basketball city. You know what I'm saying? Like the amount of NBA players that come from there, the amount of NBA coaches that come from there, the summer leagues that take place there, they deserve a team. So I'm happy that, we will likely get the Seattle Supersonics back. I think that that is a treasured place for a franchise to be. And it's a sports city. I mean, the Seahawks just won the Super
Mhm.
Bowl. So how could you not have an NBA team there? So
Yeah.
I'm all for it. I think it makes business sense. I think it makes NBA sense. And I know I'm being a bit long-winded here, but you talked about the teams potentially moving east. The East is not as deep as the West. There's no way around it. So I think moving Minnesota out to the East makes sense. I think it will raise the level of competition in the Eastern Conference. I think you get Ant Edwards out East, which will open up his pathway to get to the NBA Finals, which I know will be big business for the league. It will be big business for Adidas. So you got to get him out there. Memphis, that market's not doing too well. So I would rather see New Orleans move out East than I would see Memphis. I think that makes more sense.
Yeah, you said a lot of good things. I really, really would love Seattle to get their team back. Like you said, that is a sports city. All the
Mhm.
players that come out of there, you got the pro-ams and stuff like that. The Seahawks just won the Super Bowl. The Mariners were a game away from the World Series. So it's a lot of, this is a sports city in Seattle. So for them to get their team back potentially would be unbelievable, and I would love that. Vegas, I'm just like, like, does Vegas really need a team? But I guess I understand it from the business aspect.
Mhm.
Business is always going to be booming in Vegas. I would love for Jersey to get their team back, but
Yeah.
that's neither here nor there. But that's probably not
Yeah.
going to happen. But I think it's good for the league having expansion. I know some people are kind of worried about more teams being bad while we have expansion, but I don't think that's the case. I think we're at an all-time high and influx of talent in the NBA, and
Agreed.
we have guys that are buried on these benches on certain rosters that they could go somewhere, they could put up some numbers, even though people might be like inefficient, blah blah blah. But you got guys in the that are in the Euro League that you see them in these pro am games, they're going crazy. Like somebody like Mike James, who's on the
Yeah.
Nets, dropping 50 in these pro am games that we were just talking about in Seattle. So it's just a incredible influx of talent, and the game is only gonna keep improving as the years go on. This past draft class 2025, big group of talent. this current one, 2026, is going to be another influx of talent. So I think it's just good for the league to have an expansion, especially in certain parts of the country. We're going to add more teams. And I
Yeah.
think Minnesota coming to the East is big time, and I think that's only going to help balance out the league because I feel like part of the imbalance of the conferences just has to do with a lot of these top prospects going to the Western Conference. Like I've brought it up many times on here. Wemby going to the West, Cooper
Hmm.
Flag going to the West, Ant Edwards going to the West, Anthony Davis early 2010s going to the West, and then the guys going to the East. You got like Zachary Riesishay, Paolo. Everybody's kind of out on him now. Ben Simmons, who's currently out the league.
Yeah.
Markel Fultz. Like it's just a big discrepancy in the talent going to each conference. And I think starting with Anthony Edwards going to the East is going to be a big swing. So I think that's really good for the league. I think New Orleans in the East would be kind of dope too because they're a team that when everybody's sort of healthy and they got things rolling, they start winning. They start looking decent. And if
Yeah.
you're in the Eastern Conference, they might just be like, we could accidentally just make the play-in. And we're
Yeah.
talented enough where we could win a game in the play-in and potentially make a playoff push. So I think that'll be dope to see. And you got Zion, you got Derek Queen, Jeremiah Fears. You got a good group of guys that are kind of interesting. So I think that'll be dope to see in the Eastern Conference as well. But
Yeah, I feel like the East, sorry to cut you off. I feel like the
that was
Eastern
good.
Conference, like the past 4 years, like the 7, 8, 9, 10 seeds have been the same exact teams back to back to
Hmm.
back to back. So I feel like it's getting a little redundant. And then, like you said, players choosing to play out west. I think there's just more desirable locations out there. Like players would rather choose a Houston, players would always choose a Los Angeles. And then when you're looking at the Eastern Conference, what are the real desirable cities? It's the Knicks for New York, and then people haven't even been going to Miami to play in Florida. So, how are you going to attract players to the Eastern Conference through free agency? It's going to be pretty difficult. So you really got to find a way to balance things out.
Yeah. And with that being said, going on to the next topic. Unfortunately, Cade Cunningham was diagnosed with a collapsed lung per Shams. Get well soon to him. But now that puts a big wrench into his All NBA situation. He's currently played 61 games, and it was reported that he will be reevaluated in 2 weeks. And the Pistons have about 11 to 12 games left in the season. I don't think he's gonna come back in time to make the All NBA. But it just begs the question now, like, how bad is this 65 game requirement rule? Because a lot of the top guys in the league, they've missed a lot of games, and I get it. They made the rule to prevent load management and sitting out, but we've seen now for the past couple of years, the top guys are getting hurt, and it's just injuries are a part of the game. You can't control it, and with the pace, the way the game is played now, it's a lot more possessions, a lot more up and down. Guys are gonna get hurt, and especially with the rise of all these calf injuries, a lot of people are gonna be cautious in coming back. So, what do you think is gonna happen going into the future seasons with this rule?
I feel like it's so new. Like, are they going to change it so soon? And like you said, injuries are a part of the game, and the rule was made to stop players from load managing or taking games off when fans are buying tickets to see them, and then they're not suiting up. So it's like it's a thin line. It's a very thin line. But in the case of Cade, it's like, dang, this guy had the potential to. He probably wasn't going to win the MVP, but he would have gotten a few second place votes and maybe one or two first place votes. He's doing amazing things with the Pistons. So the All NBA first team or second team is definitely in play there. So it's sad to say it. And I know people online are like, all right, it's time to get rid of this rule. But how do you get guys to play like consistently? I mean, Cade's not a guy who sits out or is like, oh, I need a day off. That whole Detroit culture doesn't really trend that way, but I
Mm-mm.
don't know what the solution is. I mean, maybe they have to add like a extenuating circumstances asterisk where it's like, all right, this guy definitely is not taking a game off, like he has a collapsed lung, or this guy has a broken foot or something like that, where they can maybe make an exception. But I feel like they're going to keep the rule in place because that load management thing was really bad for the league.
It was, and the last player I believe to have dealt with a collapsed lung with CJ McCollum. I think he dealt with it on 2 separate occasions,
Yeah.
and he missed about 11 games. So, and that's basically how many
They
games the
got
Pistons
left.
have left.
Yeah.
So, I think I think the solution should be not only should they lower the game requirement a couple games, but they should also add a minute um requirement
Okay.
just in case you don't make the game requirement. I know some people suggested 2000 minutes or
Mhm.
62 games played. I would maybe do like 1800 minutes around there. Um
That's an interesting point. I mean, maybe
yeah.
with the way Bam's 83-point game went, where they finessed a way for him to get the ball, maybe they subcade him for 1 minute, 3 games in a
Yeah.
row,
Nah,
and
but
let
they
him
were
play.
smart though. They were smart though, because with the All NBA, I think they had it where like you have to play like 20 minutes a game.
Okay, okay,
Because I remember that's why Ty Jerome missed out on that 6 man because he was at like 19 point something.
tough man,
So
tough.
they already know like, all right, we can't do it where you come in for 6 seconds or something like that.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I think I have the list in front of me, like all the star players at risk of not qualifying. Like Jokic has missed 16 games already. He's really at the cusp. Denny Avdia has missed 16 games. Devin Booker's missed 16 games. Evan Mobley has missed 15 games. So you can't miss. I think you're only allowed to miss 17. You
Yeah.
can't miss more than that. Wemby's missed 15. Kawhi Leonard's missed 15. Luca missed 12, and he was about to miss another one, but they rescinded that technical foul. So
Uh,
he got lucky right there.
yeah, I'm a little
Cooper Flag.
conflicted, man. I'm
Yeah.
conflicted here because I'm caught between a rock and a hard place. So most people probably know Steph is my favorite player. So now when we get down to this MVP race, it's like Shea is likely going to win. That's going to give him back-to-back MVP. Some people are saying unanimous MVP, which I'm like, no way. Please don't let it happen. But I love Shea. His game is beautiful, but I don't want to see him win an MVP. I don't want him in that conversation right now. So I don't know. I don't know who I'm rooting for. I wanted maybe Jaylen Brown to win it. I think he deserves it for the job he's done with Boston, but I don't think the media is going to give him enough love. So it's going to be interesting. Jokic, they're probably going to try to get in there. Wemby, they're going to try to get in there to make sure that they meet these restrictions. But when we come down to those final few games, is it going to be worth it to have a Wemby out there if you have the second or third seed locked up, where you can get into a place where you feel good where you're at? Are you going to put him out there and risk injury because he has been injured before heading into these final games?
Yeah, it's crazy because Shea's missed 11 games. Anthony Edwards has missed 11. Um, but with that being said, it feels like Shea has the award on lock. I know
Yeah.
Luca's starting to creep in there with his recent play, but
Hmm.
Shea's gonna be Shea's gonna be knocking on the door of that second
Yeah,
MVP.
man. He
And
has
then
too many big moments, too many
yeah,
game-winning shots. And every time he's matched up against a guy in a conversation, he gets the better of the matchup. So he's awesome. He's awesome.
yeah. Um, but now for the bulk of this episode, we're gonna do NBA players and their rap equivalent. Um, I got a bunch of NBA players written down. So I'm gonna name an NBA player. You give me the rap equivalent. I think I'm gonna keep it to. I think I want to make it more fun. I want to do just current players,
Okay,
and
yeah.
you don't have to stick to current rappers to make the comparison. If you feel like there's a older generation rapper that is the equivalent, that works too. But I didn't want to come up here and be like, who's the rap version of Brad Daugherty? Like I didn't want to do that. So I'm
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
keep it to current players, and we're gonna start. I think I might know the answer to this, but we're gonna start with LeBron James.
Oh, this is Drake, no question. I have a full YouTube video on why they're the same person. I mean, I'll say it like this. When it comes to the numbers in hip hop, Drake has all the numbers in the world. That is LeBron, right? LeBron has all the stats in the world, all time, leading scorer, top 3 or 5, and like assists and everything else you can think of. That is Drake. #1 albums, record sales. Those guys' careers are the same. The only, they're both overly scrutinized as well, which is interesting. And it's like no matter what Drake does, he'll never get the recognition of potentially being the GOAT. And then no matter what LeBron does, some people will never put him above Jordan. They both have, all right, people say Drake has ghostwriters, or, he had the reference tracks. So they'll use that as the knock against him. LeBron joined the Miami Heat and make super teams. That's the knock against him. So I feel like those guys are so comparable. And that's probably why they were great friends for all those years. And maybe one day they'll piece up that relationship because their careers mirror each other, even in the timing of their career. So Drake is LeBron, man. Same thing.
Yeah, that's like hand in hand. The longevity for both of them.
Yes, yeah, I didn't even
And it's
mention that.
like
Yeah.
it's just you can't really top that. Like the only other person that I would have thought with LeBron was like Jay-Z or something.
Yeah.
But Drake is like you can't go wrong with that combo. The next athlete we got Shea Gilgeous Alexander.
Hmm. Ooh, that's a tough one. Okay.
And you don't have to be like you don't have to say like oh Canadian rapper.
Yeah. This is a good one.
This is a good one.
You know what? This is interesting. I'm gonna say Playboy Cardi here.
Okay.
Here's the reason why. I think for number one is the fashion. Shay's way better dressed. Cardi is not really my style of dress, but I think when people look at Cardi as an artist, one thing they mainly go to is his ability to trendset in terms of clothes. I think Shay is transcendent on the court, but a lot of people discuss the tunnel fits when it comes to him. Also, we're talking about a young guy who has the numbers, and I think Cardi for the younger generation in terms of his tours and the singles, I think that is Cardi, and I think the cult following. I think when somebody says Shea is their guy, they're rolling with him. All those OKC Thunder fans who are like, yeah, Shea is already top 2 or Shea is already top 10 or he's going to be top 10. That's how Cardi fans are. He's their guy. So I would go Playboy Cardi and SGA here.
I think the one thing that goes hand in hand with that comparison is like the mystique factor for both. We don't really know too much about Shea. I know they came out with the starting 5, but even then, I feel like you still don't really know who Shea Gilgeous Alexander is. Same thing with Playboy Cardi. Like the only thing I know about him is like he was playing PS5 during the birth of his child. Like that's that's the only thing I know about him.
Most people don't even know what he looks like. That like they don't know.
Yeah. So I think that goes hand in hand. Both of them have a very, very strong fan base that feels strongly about the two. There's people that they'll go to war for Playboy Cardi, and they'll tell you that he is the best rapper of all time. They'll really, he's not even close, but they'll go out there and they tell you. But he does carry himself with that confidence of like, all right, I am one of these guys, and I'm gonna prove it to you. Especially, and I feel like the one thing I will give Playboy Cardi is like his shows, man. His shows be great. Like you go to his shows, you would think that like, all right, this dude, he backs up the trash talk and he backs up what he's putting out.
Yeah, man. I don't have the energy for it, but I watching on camera, everything you're saying is a fact.
Yeah. The next name, Nikola Jokic.
Ooh, this Jokic. Okay. Who is a rapper who has crazy numbers but may not care about rap that much? You know what? Jokic is like 2020, 2021 Lil Baby. That's who Jokic is to me. And here's what I'll say. Lil Baby's run at that time was like he's the best in the world. Like the feature run he was on, I think My Turn, all the platinum singles from there, the tour, everything. Baby was on fire. But does Lil Baby really want to be a rapper? I don't think so. So now when I look at Jokic, I mean, he's not as well. Jokic on the court is flashy. Baby's flashy when it comes to diamonds. So I see that. And people question, like, obviously Jokic loves the NBA, but he might love horses more. Baby loves to rap, but he might love gambling or getting fly or doing this stuff in the club more. So that's why I kind of see that. So I think the numbers for Baby on his run at his peak are equivalent to what Jokic was doing in his peak. So that, I know people are going to look like it. That's kind of crazy, but I think I see the similarities there.
It's dope because I didn't even like think of Baby, but it is a dope comparison because that 2020, 2021 run for Baby, people were talking about him as the top guy in the game, number one guy in the game. So, and that My Turn album that's what kind of knocked everything out the park. So yeah, you do kind of question like, does Baby even like this rap shit anymore? Because it feels like some of his releases now are kind of just like whatever,
Yeah,
like
kind of did.
uninspiring. I think is the best way to say it. But and some people get that vibe from Jokic, like he don't even really want to be out there. He
Hmm.
kind of feels like he's just out there because he got it's a job to him. And
Yeah,
for some people, that's I guess they see Lil Baby as the same thing. Like rap is just a hustle for Lil Baby. Um,
agreed.
that's just a means to provide for his family. So I guess that could go hand in hand like that. The next player we got Luka Doncic.
Mm, damn. Is there a
This guy,
Luca rap comp?
this gotta be a guy that like came into the rap game just immediately on fire
Mm,
and is still one of
okay.
the top dogs.
Mm.
I think I have somebody in mind,
I,
maybe
who you have
two.
in mind? I'm gonna say who I have. Because the
The
guy
one
I have, I'm drawing a different connection, brother. Who you got?
it might not be like one for one because the guy I'm thinking about, he's probably you probably can't say he's like MVP right now, like how Luka is, but somebody that comes to mind that like came into the game immediately was on fire. I thought about Lil Uzi Vert.
Okay, interesting. Ooh, okay.
2015 coming into the game, just immediately had hit after hit after hit, big albums, big features, and was on every popping song. And remember that I love that they brought back that Ebro clip that he was like, "Oh, we'll see where
Oh
you at in
yeah.
10 years," and he just had that song that's popping. And I was like, "Wait, let me check that out," because I haven't kept in touch with Uzi's music like that. So when I saw that and I'm like, oh yeah, this song is popping right now. I can't even lie
Hmm.
on TikTok and everything. So he's defied the odds and he was a pioneer of that mumble rap era in the 2010s and he is one of the faces. And we saw him kind of like change his style a little bit with that Eternal Take. And some people were kind of scared because all the leaks that was coming out and it getting delayed. And then when it did come out, a lot of people they were messing with it and he
Mm.
kept on dominating after the fact. Every time you feel like he's kind of going away, he comes back with another big song. He had I Just Want to Rock. He had
Hmm.
this I forgot the name of this song that he got out right now, but he's always like dominating and I don't think he's always going to find a way to keep us on our toes.
Yeah, I was gonna say Gunna here.
Okay.
And I was gonna say Gunna because I think Gunna's style is unique, and I think he does it better than everyone. I think Luca's play style is so unique. You know, no one can really replicate it fully. Like we see flashes of Harden, but his game's a little bit different. And then the other thing I was gonna say is, you know, Luca on the Mavericks is like Gunna on YSL. And then now he leaves YSL, he's still on fire. Luca leaves the Mavs where he gets traded, and he's still doing his thing in LA, just like how Gunna's doing, doing his best and being independent of everyone because of all the drama they had going on. So Uzi works. I like Gunna though. I like the Gunna comp.
And one thing I'll say about Gunna, like I love Gunna. He's one of my favorite artists. Cause like I was talking to somebody recently, like these new rappers, like I don't really. It's hard for me to check for these new rappers whenever a new release comes out. Gunna is one of those guys. He's like on my short list of like whenever he drops, I'm checking that out. And I love YSL Gunna, but I think I love like independent Gunna way more. I
Mm,
don't know. It felt like his career was supposed to be over, and he said, "Fuck that."
yeah, absolutely.
All he needs is him and Turbo, and he good.
Yeah.
That's it.
Gunna's talented. That's talent.
He's talented. Next person, Jason Tatum.
Okay. Oh, Tatum. I'm gonna say Wale. And I'm going to say Wale for this reason. Tatum doesn't get the respect he deserves. Wale does not get the respect he deserves. Wale has been extremely consistent since the
Mm-hmm.
day he came out in the blog era up until 2026. Wale, when he's on a feature, especially an R&B feature, kills it every time. Tatum, whenever he has a good running mate like a Jaylen Brown, kills it every time. He may not win the Finals MVP, but they wouldn't have won without him. people forget that Wale makes great music and he can always have a
Mm-hmm.
great feature verse. So
Yep.
in terms of these guys need more respect, Tatum and Wale.
I love that. Because, yeah, Wale does not get the respect that he deserves. Somebody who's consistent. He may not have the hit songs every single year,
Mm-hmm.
but you know he's going to put out quality music. For me personally, I appreciate Wale. Like, even though it may not be a hit to everybody, there's a
Mm-hmm.
song I'm gonna always go back to. Like that new song he got with Leon Thomas. Great
Yeah.
song. That's a great song. Next player, Kawhi Leonard. Oh, Florida just lost, by the way.
Already,
Yeah,
I figured they would.
Iowa. Yeah,
I was tough, man, offensively.
yeah. Shout out to Iowa. I was glad that they were the first one seed out because if you don't know, I'm a Duke fan, so
Okay.
everybody thought we was gonna be the first one seed out, and guess not. So
Well, I'll see you next round, man.
we'll see you next
Let's see
week.
you next
That's
round.
gonna be a fun one. That's gonna be a fun game. Next player, Kawhi Leonard.
Kawhi is J. Cole. Kawhi is J. Cole. Quiet. They don't speak often, but whenever it's time, for that album to drop or for that big playoff series, Kawhi is J. Cole. And I think the skill level, J. Cole might be the most skilled rapper. Kawhi might be the most skilled two-way player in the game right now in terms of offensive abilities and defensive abilities. And I think a lot of people misinterpret Kawhi's career, like all the stuff with the Spurs, now with the Clippers. People always find a way to doubt him, but he still delivers. Like, look at what he's doing right now as a veteran in the
Mhm.
league, right? He's in the MVP
Yeah,
conversation. And same thing with J. Cole. I mean, there's been so many points in his career where people have doubted him. Even when he puts out his best work or a quality album, people will still have something negative to say. And J. Cole's been in the game for what, 15 years, 16
yeah,
years, and he's still putting out quality work. So I think Kawhi and J. Cole are great comps.
yeah. That's like the one. I think that and the Drake one are the two comparisons you hear the most. Drake to LeBron, Kawhi to J Cole,
Mm-hmm.
and it makes sense. J Cole not really out there in the public as much. Only really when it's like time for the rollout. That's when you
Yeah.
see. And I guess to relate it to Kawhi, that's like playoff time. But yeah, both at the top of their game, very sharp skill set, and they get the job done. Um, and I guess the same way Kawhi could be polarizing by not playing games, people could say that about J. Cole, like, oh man, he's boring. Like,
Yeah.
but you can't deny that he's top dude in the league. Next name, and I'm interested to hear this because I'm a Knicks fan, so I just wanted to throw a player in there. Jalen Brunson.
Ooh, Brunson.
Something to think about because this is a guy that came into the league and was like backup, not really big expectations.
Mm.
And then now it's like, oh, this guy's top of the league.
Okay. You know what I'm gonna say? A Boogie. I'm gonna say Boogie here. You know why? Boogie has been carrying New York for so long, and people just don't realize it. The amount of platinum records, the amount of tours, like selling out the Garden multiple times, selling out multiple cities, selling out places across the country, and people just act like it doesn't exist. Is exactly what Brunson's doing. Brunson could have been in the MVP conversation for the past 3 seasons, but people don't give him the respect. Maybe because he's a bit undersized. Maybe it's because he's not always talking about how good he is and he doesn't have that PR machine behind him. It's just like Boogie. We don't really hear Boogie talk about himself, right? He comes out, he represents the Bronx, he represents New York, and then he goes and does what he does. And you don't hear from him until it's time to put out a project. And
Mhm.
then, but when the lights are on and you're on the world's biggest stage at the Garden, watch how Brunson performs. So I like Brunson to A Boogie, man.
That is dope because Boogie has been carrying New York for a while, like basically a decade at this point.
Exactly.
But it's very, very. I guess because of the influx of artists that come out of New York, so it's like always somebody that's trending. But A Boogie's been consistent because, like in
Mhm.
that decade, you had the Pop Smokes, rest in peace. You had the Cash Cobains currently. You have Fabio Foreigns. Everybody in that they kind of get shine here and there, and A Boogie's just there consistently. Never fell off, but was just there, always doing his thing. You even had the TJs
Yeah.
in that little run in their
Yeah.
feud. But he's been consistently working, and I always have respect for him because even like I may not be as big of a fan of him now than when I was younger, but he's one of those artists. If he drops, I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Because he always has quality music, and that's something that the game kind of lacks right now from the new artists.
Yeah, man.
Next athlete, we got Donovan Mitchell.
Okay, Mitchell. Ooh, a New Yorker right here. Mitchell. He's a tough one, man. This might take me a second. Let me think. Donovan Mitchell. He's
This
flashy.
a guy that came into the league and just popped right away, and never really went anywhere.
And not enough, and not enough recognition for Donovan Mitchell either.
Yeah,
Let me think.
I'm trying to think
Rapper.
too of somebody else that could come into my head.
Ooh, dang. I
Yeah,
was
this is a
about to
tough
say
one.
somebody, but it didn't match him all the way. So I don't want to go with that guy. Let me think. I'm thinking New York people in my head right now. So let me broaden the scope.
Came into the league, should have been rookie of the year.
Yeah, that was a little controversy. Dang, let me think.
Yeah, this is an interesting.
I don't know. This is a hard one. Okay, you know what? Okay, I got somebody. Let's say Don Tolliver here. I can
Okay.
say Don Tolliver here. Now, the reason why I'll go with Don Tolliver is because Donovan Mitchell in the playoffs has went head to head with the best players in the league, but he's never been in that conversation. Like he's never been, no, Mitchell is the best player in the NBA. I don't even think we've ever said Mitchell's one of the 5 best players in the NBA, but people consistently know what to expect. They know he's clutch. They know he's going to score a bunch of points. I think what we're seeing with Don Tolliver is very similar here. We're never going to say he's the best rapper, but he has a core fan base. He puts out quality projects, and he may have the album of the year right now. But at the end of the year, is anybody going to say he had the best rap year? No one's going to say that, right? Because they're going to compare him to Drake or whoever else comes out. It's just something like he's just not on that level yet. Maybe one day, but not yet. Same thing with Mitchell. At Utah, he almost got them to the Western Conference Finals. So he was almost there, but not yet. Cleveland, you got Harden with you. Are you guys going to get to the Eastern Conference Finals? Maybe, but we have to see it. So maybe Don Tolliver there.
The guy that came to my head is kind of interesting because it kind of low key works. I thought about 21 Savage.
Oh,
And
okay.
what
That's a
made
good
me
one.
think about that was 21 Savage, like 2015, 2016 range. To me personally, I don't know how other people felt. I'm like, all right, this guy kind of like a raw talent, but he's interesting. Same thing with Donovan Mitchell coming out of Louisville. Kind of raw talent, athletic, could jump out the gym. But then as the years went on, you saw the improvement. When that Issa album came out in 2017, that's when I started to like appreciate 21 Savage more. I'm like, all right, he could give you the hard songs like the No Hearts, the X bank account, but then he could give you songs like FaceTime. There is some he got some variety there where he could kind of do multiple things and could still be consistent. Same thing with Donovan Mitchell. He came into the league. I remember he had that breakout game where he dropped 40 points. I think it was against the Pelicans. And then from then on, it's just like flip switch, and he just took off. And 21 Savage, like around the same time, like 2018, that's when he got the album I Am, and he had that J. Cole song a lot. And I feel like that's when things kind of started to propel for him. And then since then, he's just been, I don't think anyone's ever called him top 5, but he's always been respected as like one of the guys because he even gets that respect from Drake. They had the collab album together.
Yeah.
Metro Boomin, one of the hottest producers in Atlanta, that frequent collaborators right there. And he's put out a lot of music that's like, oh shit, like when him and Drake had the tape together, people was like, yo, 21 Savage is really like the Drake gave him this platform, even though he already was lit, but he's showcasing why he deserves to be here. And I kind of equate that to Donovan Mitchell in the bubble. going crazy, showing
Yeah.
the entire world like, yo, I'm one of the top dogs in the NBA. So I thought about that was kind of the guy that came into my head. And the other person, it just makes no sense. But I remember rest in peace, Juice WRLD. I used to always say, man, Juice WRLD's the Donovan Mitchell of the rap game.
Hmm.
I had no reasoning behind it. I was just like, he's just the Donovan Mitchell of the rap game.
Yeah,
Exciting.
Juice is special, yeah.
Yeah, exciting, special. People don't look at him as a top dog, but you could always go to him and you're gonna be entertained. Next name. I kept him long enough, but Steph Curry.
Oh man. Damn.
It's your guy right here.
This is my guy, man. I don't know. Steph is such a phenomenon, man. It's crazy. Like, okay. So I don't know. Current rapper. I don't think I could do a current rapper. I might have to do a throwback right here.
That's fine. That's fine.
I'm going to say, damn, there's two guys. I'm gonna go with Nelly. I'm gonna say Nelly, man.
Okay.
And here's the reason why I'm gonna say Nelly. I think Nelly at his best, like peak Nelly, like Diamond album Nelly, it was the best at the top of the game. And I think peak Steph 2015 to 2016 is the best player in the NBA. And it was different, just like Nelly's sound was different. So people are looking at it like we've never seen anything like this. So you get Nelly from, St. Louis who comes out and like, this is the best rapper in the game. This is the guy going diamond. This is the guy with the melodies. It's like, this is Steph with the 3-point shot. It's like something we've never seen before. Like we've seen guys shoot threes. We've seen rappers have melodies, but when Nelly's like singing with that little twang, it is a little bit different. So I think Nelly, his influence, with the way that he dressed, I think the influence, obviously airs were always popping in New York, but for the rest of the country, when he does Air Force Ones, is very similar to Steph and Steph's influence on the game. So a little bit different there. I'm gonna go with Nelly.
Yeah, I didn't even think of Nelly, but and the first thing I thought about when you said Nelly was, here come the Kendrick fans. They're gonna be like, how are we not Steph? How are we not Steph?
Oh no, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Kendrick fans gonna be fucking mad if.
Yeah, I don't think Kendrick could be said. I think Kendrick, maybe you're asking, maybe I have to think of a rapper that would mirror him, because I think that there might be, I definitely have a player comp for him, but it's not Steph. I don't think Steph has ever brought toxicity to the game. And I think what we saw with the Drake fans versus Kendrick fans is a little bit toxic. I don't think Steph and LeBron gets toxic, but not to that point. Not to that point.
Since you said that, I kind of want to flip the script now. And instead of naming players, I think I'm gonna name rappers, and you try to give me the best player comparison.
Okay.
Kind of to make that switch, because there are some players some rappers that I do I'm just curious to hear who you would say. And this one, I'm just gonna go like every era type.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we could start with Kendrick now, since.
Yeah, I call it a Kevin Durant.
Okay.
I call it a Kevin Durant. I know KD is obviously on the Drake side of things, but in terms of the career, it's like KD scoring, he's like the best scorer ever, right? He's the best scorer ever. And I think to a lot of people, Kendrick is the best rapper ever. Like, I think people really stick to that, and they take that very personal. Just like when you talk to a KD fan about KD, they're letting it be known who KD is. I also think KD is a bit like transparent, like he lets it be known how he feels. And I think in Kendrick's music, he's giving you who he is as a person, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And that is KD on social media. He's going to respond to you. He's going to tell you how he feels, whether you like it or whether you love it. Very similar to Kendrick Lamar. And I mean, I think Kendrick has a few things that other rappers don't. Like, you get the Pulitzer Prize, you get things like that, and that's like KD on the Olympics. Like, he's the most decorated NBA basketball Olympian. Like, he has things that other people don't. So I see it as that. The only difference between the two is Kendrick has a home team and a home base. Like, LA and California will back him more than anything and anybody. That's the
Yeah.
guy. And I think KD, I mean, because he's, been to a few places, I don't think he has that like Kendrick has. So I don't know. That's who I would go to. But there might be a better player comp if I could go like a bit older, maybe like a Magic, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, because I remember I think Complex had did Everyday Struggle had did an episode like this like years ago, like 2018. And when Kendrick came up, they said Steph Curry. And I guess just rivaling Drake and Drake's LeBron, and I guess
Okay.
that's easy. And then
Yeah.
Steph does have California. He's been there his whole career, and that's the back and forth. It's the first time I heard Kevin Durant, but it is good because they're both extremely like polarizing. Like
Yes.
everybody's going to bat for them, but I feel like that home base thing does kind of like that is like a significant thing. So I feel like everything else you said it is fair, it's facts. But I feel like
Mhm.
that home team thing is it's a big
That's a
hole.
big deal. Yeah.
Damn. I mean Magic. I mean somebody I thought about. Well, I don't think he. If we just comparing like who's better at their job, Kendrick, but somebody that's polarizing. The whole city was behind him, but he didn't really have like. I don't think you could say he had the rivalry with somebody like Drake and stuff. But the first person that came to my mind when like the city backing him, polarizing, was Allen Iverson. I
Okay.
thought about him, but I just don't think he compares to Kendrick in that way.
Yeah. Kendrick has some trophies. AI
Yeah,
only got the MVP. You could even say Kobe.
yeah,
Matter of fact, I think I would change my mind. I think I'd actually say Kobe. I think what Kobe means to LA is what Kendrick means to LA. I think
yeah.
they're both a bit misunderstood in the art, but I think they're both killers. Like
Hmm.
Kobe was a killer when he got in that mode, and I think we just saw Kendrick get in that mode. So I take that back. I take back KD. Maybe you edit that out if we can. I will go Kobe. I think it's Kobe for sure, and I think
Yeah,
Kobe and Kendrick actually might have had a relationship. I believe. So yeah, I go.
I think if I'm not mistaken, they might have done like an interview together.
They had something. I can't
I
remember,
think
but
they
they
might have had
mentioned
something.
him in an interview. Some for sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
I think I like that a lot more because a lot of people go to bat for Kobe. A lot of people have the arguments of Kobe not being top 10. I don't think, and maybe people say that about Kendrick. Like he's not a top 10 artist of all time. I won't make that convo,
Yeah,
but there
nah,
probably
he's
are
definitely not.
people. There are people out there that would make that conversation, but I think that is a better comp.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm sticking to rappers. To next person, and I'm just interested to hear this. 50 Cent,
you know what's funny?
one of my
I
favorite
was gonna,
rappers.
mine too. I was gonna say 50 for Steph Curry, but 50 is just so conflict driven, and Steph is not. But I was gonna give kind of the same reasoning, like as when 50 was at the top of the game, is like Steph at the top of the game. But 50 had conflict. What NBA player had conflict with everybody? Had conflict with everybody. I don't know.
Chris Webber? Nah.
Webb. I would say like even a Charles Barkley,
Charles Barkley.
like,
Okay.
or even a Shaq. You know what, Shaq? I would say Shaq.
That was the second
'Cause,
person that came to my head.
yeah, 50 was a beast. Like prime
Mhm.
50 is like prime Shaq. You know what I'm saying? Like Get Rich or Die Trying is a classic. Like 2001 Shaq, 2002 Shaq, one of one. And I think Shaq never shied, never ducked away from anything. I think that's 50. I think that's 52. So I would say 50 and Shaq. And they both love
Yeah.
social media games. So
Oh
those
yeah.
guys are no joke.
Yeah, I love that comp. And I always hate the people that say that 50 only got one good album because
Oh
that's
yeah,
not
that's
true.
that's
That's
crazy.
not true.
That's
I think
crazy.
I think the Massacre is a really good album. People
Hmm.
don't want to give it that credit, and I think Curtis is low key slept on. People just think about the head to head with Kanye,
Yeah.
and they kind of just disregard that. But he outsold him out like overseas. It's just Kanye outsold him in the U.S. And that album is good too. It's
Hmm.
slept on, underrated, but people kind of don't want to give him that credit. But I think Shaq is a good hand in hand comp. Like came
Yeah.
into the league, just dominated off rip. Um, next name. Travis Scott.
I was actually thinking I've had him in mind for a few people you named. So this is I'm gonna go with a younger player here. Who's a younger player? I want to think of a younger player who's a star though. Okay, it's actually not a younger player. I'm gonna go with Kyrie Irving here for Travis Scott.
Okay.
And again, like the Trav fans are like the Kyrie fans. You can't tell them anything about their guy. And I think how people say Travis is the best performer, like the best live performer, Kyrie's the best, showman in basketball, like the way he finishes the basketball, the way it's aesthetically pleasing. Like I think that goes for Trav. I think they both have a die-hard fan base who celebrate and who champion them. They both have made waves in terms of, Kyrie with the independent sneaker thing, Trav with the Nike deal. Like they both kind of explore and branch out and connect into different worlds. So maybe Kyrie and Travis Scott.
All right, a couple more names. Tupac.
Pac. Damn. I think Pac has to be Magic.
Okay.
I think Pac has to be Magic. Magic is beloved. Magic is the definition of a Laker. Pac is beloved 25, 30 years after his death, right? Pac is one of one. And I think what Pac embodies to a lot of people is what a rapper should be, right? Someone who, number one, respects the art form, but someone who also speaks to the people. And I think Magic embodies that in LA. Magic was in touch with every aspect of the culture. Even now, Magic does business in LA. Magic Johnson is the man, right? You go to the Dodgers, you go to the Lakers. He served roles in both teams, opening up a Starbucks in the inner city in Los Angeles. That's what Pac is. He's a person of the people. And then when you look at when you put rap at the highest level, the biggest beef in hip hop history, probably until Drake and Kendrick, is Pac versus Big. The biggest rivalry in NBA history that really brought the NBA back or took it to a height it never reached before is, Magic versus Bird. So I will go there.
And since I asked about Pac, I have to ask about Big too.
Big. I'm not gonna call Big Larry Bird. So Big has a career cut short, but is considered to be one of the best. Big could have been Magic too. Considered to be one of the
short
best.
Peak, but short peak, but at their peak was like top 3 play in the game.
Damn. You know what? Maybe not. I'll go with Dr. J here.
Okay.
I'll go with Dr. J because you know what? Big is style. Big is, overall fashion influence. Big was cool. That was Dr. J. I mean, Dr. J really modernized teaching these players how to dress. He was a vet. Dr. J's play style, I would have likened to Big's flow. Like Big has the best flow ever. When you look at Dr. J and the way he dunked the basketball and the way that he could finish at the rim, no one could really rival that still, even though players are probably better athletes now than they were back then. No one has been able to rival that. And I think you ask a lot of older people, they will tell you Dr. J is one of the 10 best players of all time. What he did in the ABA and doing it in the NBA. I think that's big.
All right. Since I asked those two, I got to ask Jay-Z.
This is a very New York answer here, so people will be mad, but you have to say Jordan. Okay. There are people out here who say that Jay-Z's never been the best rapper or he's overrated or people think he can't sell out shows. Well, listen, man. Jay-Z is the best rapper. I'm just rapper, not the best artist, not the best MC, not the best, all encompassing. I think there's other people who have different, more versatile, but I think when it comes down to it, I think Hov is the best pound for pound. He struggled a bit with certain things, but to me, I think MJ is Hov. So that's a very New York centric answer, but true. That's the answer I got, man. That's the answer I got.
Nah, yeah, I feel like that goes hand in hand. It has to be him. Yeah. And I got two. Like I got these last two, and these two are kind of just like very left field, but I just want to hear who you would say. One of them is a older rapper, and the other one
Okay.
is, I guess he don't really rap no more, but Crazy Peak. And I just wanted to see who the two. First person, I'm gonna go with the old school rapper first.
All right.
AZ.
Oh man, damn.
Me and my boy
Okay.
always talk about AZ. Super underrated, super
Eight.
dope. He's been on a bunch of big songs, and bro, he don't get the credit he deserves.
No.
And he has a classic album, in my opinion.
And he cooked Nas on a couple joints, man. The Nas fans gonna be mad at me, but he cooked Nas on a couple joints, man. AZ got a couple of my favorite verses. Ooh, so old school. Okay. He was with a guy who could be considered the best and held his own against him. But people don't really talk about anymore. Maybe David Robinson, right? David Robinson, people don't talk about him because, Tim Duncan, gets a lot of the credit for that ship. But without David Robinson, Duncan doesn't win, right? So I think maybe this is like a Nas is Tim Duncan here, which I could also say when you talk about longevity, and AZ is David Robinson. I'll take that actually.
I like that. Even though people are gonna be in the comments like, AZ not no fucking Hall of Fame player. I'm like, well, I don't know. I feel like if you got a classic
versus,
if you have I feel like if you got a classic album in the 90s, that's a strong case. And I think that was like the hardest era to have a classic album. Like I say all the time, I feel like the 2001 All NBA was like the hardest All NBA to make. The 90s, if you had a classic album in that time, it was just hard to do.
Yeah.
The very last guy, new rapper. Well, I don't even think he rap no more, but Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Oh man, it's Tekashi.
Somebody who came out the gate just blazing, had one of the best single seasons ever.
Somebody gonna be mad. NBA player gonna be mad at me, man.
Me and my friends always talked about if rap had an All NBA in 2018, he deadass might have been first team.
Oh yeah, man. His
as crazy as that sounds,
is insane. Like
it would have been
make a hit.
2018. I talk about this all the time. It would have been Drake. Would have been Cardi B. You could argue Kendrick with the Black Panther album, but Rich the Kid had a great year.
Yes.
Kanye had an album. Pusha T, that was a great year. But 6ix9ine, you could make the case that he was All NBA first team that year because everything was hit after hit, every single drop he had. So that was a crazy year. Definitely Drake and Cardi B was for sure stamped, and Kanye.
Listen, I'm gonna say LaMelo Ball, man. Just an unorthodox way of doing things, but it's just undeniable. Like this guy's talented and knows how to just put the basketball in a hoop and could make it flashy. He can't drive a car, and so he's known for getting into trouble when it comes to driving, just like Tekashi was known for getting into trouble. And I think just that energy that Melo brings to the city of Charlotte is like what Tekashi brought to New York. So Melo, I'm not saying you would ever tell or snitch. I'm just saying that you're a little comparable to 6ix9ine in terms of impact. So he might be mad at me, but that's the truth.
That's gonna do it for NBA players and the rappers and the NBA comparisons. You know how the saying goes, ball players want to be rappers want to be ball players. One last thing I want to give you before we get out of here. I want to do a blind ranking of 90s albums. You're gonna do 5 spots. And we'll start off with the first album. Only Built for Cuban Links, aka The Purple Tape.
Okay, I'm gonna go 5 here. I think
5?
we got more to go.
Okay. Not Illmatic. It Was Written by Nas.
4.
Okay. The Chronic by Dr. Dre.
3. 3. I know I'm counting up, but I feel like I think I'm spot on right now.
Okay. Reasonable Doubt by Jay-Z.
90s albums. This is going to be corny. I'm going to say two because I think we're going to get a Tupac or a Big album next, and I think that's one. So I'll go two for Reasonable Doubt.
And the last album is All Eyes on Me, Tupac.
Okay, we go number one. I love my list. I love my list. I
it
think I
worked
got a
out pretty
perfect order.
good. It worked out. I think I guess for me personally, I'll probably put the Purple Tape over the Chronic.
I knew you would. I felt like when you threw that out first, it's like, oh, you definitely love this album.
Yeah.
I felt that when that question
I love
came.
that album.
Yeah, I sense that. But I think my list is good.
Yep. But that's gonna do it for today's episode. Before we get out of here, is there anything that you want to plug or shout out?
Just follow me on my socials. Instagram is j.roebuck. If you want to go on YouTube, you can type in J Roebuck. I have a music channel and a sports channel that I just started, so make sure you subscribe to both. And TikTok is j.roebuck1. So I appreciate you all tuning in. Hopefully I entertained you, made you laugh, made you smile, and hopefully I made you angry because you disagree with some of my points. So wherever this is posted, go in the comment section and let me know what you think, and I will respond because I always have something to say.
Looking forward to that Duke versus St. John's game next week.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to the Johnnies for winning today. But before I get out of here, I just want to say I appreciate you for pulling up, man. I think just watching the content you put out has motivated me to be better and to just continue going for what I want to go for. And it's not often that I get to look some of my peers like face to face or like this virtual, and I get to say like I really appreciate you, like having Wave, like guys that I didn't think I'd be able to ever be in contact with. So for this moment to happen is a little surreal for me. So I just want to say I'm very appreciative of this moment, and I'm not gonna take this for granted. So appreciate you again for pulling up. This means a lot to me, and I hope you have continued success going forward. I'm gonna be rooting for you and everybody going forward because it's just I feel like seeing all these creators and doing what they want to do and just inspiring me and a bunch of other people I think it's dope to have a community like this. So I just wanted to say that. But if you guys are listening on audio, please give 5 stars. Please watch on YouTube. Please like, comment, subscribe. Follow on Instagram at the JV Podcast 1. Follow on TikTok at the JV Podcast. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
All right. Thank you, man. Salute, bro.
Salute.